changed our lives in a way that we never could have anticipated.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview the top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Lead Agent Secrets.
Third and final topic, your secret to success is buying more time. I love this topic. We're going to be talking, I'm assuming, about leverage. Open up why buying more time is your third secret to success.
Well, because there is only so much of it in the day. And to the point that we were just talking about, the only way to do more deals without help is to burn yourself out, ultimately. So hiring somebody for me, hiring somebody was a very scary thing to do because number one, what if I can't pay them? What if I don't close the deals that I think I'm going to close and can't pay them? And two, you kind of have to take 2 steps back in order to take 3 steps forward because some of your time is going to be invested in training them, right? So the training process. So there was a lot, but I had, experienced agents and some mentors and whatever that all told me, if you will hire an assistant, you will double your business. And I was like, you're full of shit. Like that. I'm like, you're lying. There's no way that's true. And do you know, I hired an assistant. I didn't double, but I closed more deals. I made more money and I had more time with my family and doing the things I wanted to do. So had I worked at the rate I was working before, I probably would have doubled my business. But for me, buying the leverage was at the time, again, I had young kids. And so I was looking for someone to help me so that I could have more time. But I think another piece of the buying more time is not always buying more time. Sometimes it's buying more talent. I love a good graphic. I think it's fun to play with birthday invitations and whatever, but from a marketing perspective, that's not I have good ideas but the implementation of them or the actual creation of some of the things. So for me, it was important to hire someone who could do marketing for us, who knew a lot about social media, and matter of fact, the girl that I hired who still works for me today, she taught herself how to edit videos because she also had kids and her kids are very animated. They like to perform. They go do all these talent shows and stuff. They like to make music videos. So she taught herself how to do video stuff and edit because her kids made music videos or she was making music videos for her kids. So we took that talent and said, can you please make some videos for the Dietz group, right? And so she's been our operations manager and our marketing director. She does those positions both, which sounds like 2 positions, but she's too good at both of them, so I won't. I don't know what to do.
That's the same one. That's all marketing.
It's all the same. So so hiring somebody who knows more about and is passionate about the marketing and the social media and doing all of those things. So,
yeah, I think one of the things you touched on, I think I want to dive into a little bit is about the recruiting side and how you were nervous, like how do you pay bills? This is one of our common topics that we hear from listeners that we discuss with top agents, people who've grown teams. What advice could you give on that side where it's like finding people? Like, did you say go to Indeed? Was it a personal sphere? Was it have you failed a bunch and you figured out a system? Because I can tell you one of the biggest things that we see and we train and coach on by far is the biggest reason for churn is poor onboarding. Like that is the number one reason for churn of agents. It's they didn't get onboarded into your team correctly.
That's
right. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing. A bit like you said, the very beginning of the show, it's like, turn up day one, what do I do? Yes. That's how a lot of agents feel, but that's not how good teams make agents feel.
That's right.
I promise you that.
Right.
So
right. I would in my experience, I would contend that yes, poor onboarding, but also hiring the right people, being one of my own mistakes that I still struggle with is because I am about relationships and I love people and whatever, it's very difficult for me to ask people to leave. Right. I do not enjoy that. But the whole slow to hire, quick to fire is something I think that we should all live by, because ultimately letting someone stick around who doesn't belong there is going to create problems in your business, right? So making the right hires is important, but if you didn't make a good hire and you can see it 30 or 45 days into it, you can't keep giving more chances. Yeah. You have to know when it's time. And for me, sometimes I think my challenge has been I get so busy that I don't necessarily pay attention to the problem. So the problem was there on day 16, but I didn't really acknowledge and process it until day 74, and now I've got someone who's been there for a long time and I don't know what to do about it because I waited too long to address it.
Which is, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because the reason you're hiring is to get more time so you can manage better. But the first few hires, you are still the producer. So this is obviously you have more issues. There's something, and I can't take credit for this, and I don't know exactly the name of the guy, but I believe I heard this from, he was a guy, the director of sales at Groupon. I think it was him. And I've been fortunate or unfortunate, I should say. I've dealt with a lot of salespeople. I've recruited a lot, and real estate is obviously agents of the base with just selling shit. And there was something that they coined the wolf, which is you might have this like insane agent, like this insane sales guy in your organization. You could have a team and you've just got this one guy's like Peter and he's out and he's selling like 30 homes, or you could go something crazy, right? And then everyone else is selling 5. But he is incredibly toxic for the culture, right? And then what happens is you're like, oh, I can't let him go because we lose all the revenue. But then what you actually find is you cut him and everyone else's production goes up because they actually like what the fuck they're doing now, because he was basically like sucking the life from them. And this is one of the things that I think everyone has their own methodology, because we've had a lot of people on this show, candidly, who've got very different recruiting styles, say to me, because I very much do like alpha mentalities. But the problem is with hiring a lot of alpha mentalities is they are fiercely competitive. And one of the biggest issues is a lot of the time, depending on their kind of stances on morality, if you want to say morals or values, like they would take food from another sales guy's mouth to feed themselves, which is one of the biggest issues. But then on the flip side, you could have a lot of B players, let's say, who are all mediocre, and you'd never really find that, rising star. There's a balance between. It really is dependent on you and how you like to manage people. But I can tell you, the real alpha A players, like, they can both be a blessing and a curse.
Right. Well, I think
there's a lot of pain here.
For sure. I think the challenge with the alpha players, and again, it comes down to awareness. Like, what are you willing to do and take and deal with? And what do you want your business to look like? If you're going to hire alphas, you have to know that they're probably only going to be with your team for about 2 years, because it's not their name. It's not their business. They're not in charge. They're an alpha. They learned everything they could from you in 2 years, and they're going to go do it themselves. Right. And if you're comfortable with that and you're good with the fact that you're going to make a crap ton of money, potentially helping them build their business or whatever, if you can deal with that idea for 2 years and know that they're going to be gone, then that's fine. But if you're looking for a more long-term person who's going to commit to your business and want to be on your team for a longer length of time, then you might be looking for a different personality type. I think you just have to know what you want to fill your team with. And so we did use Indeed. We do use Wise Hire as another site that we use. I like Wise Hire because they do the disc profile test as a part of the included. So I'll tell you, to answer your earlier question, we do have a process, because when I first started, it was like, when I first started hiring, I was like, here's the ad, here's some resumes. I'm going to bring some people in and talk to them, and I'm going to pick one. Right. And I made a couple of bad hires. And so I was like, I need to figure something out. So I ultimately found a plan through another mentor of mine where so I put the ad out, and anybody who responds to it, we reply and say, thank you for your application. Please before we used WiseHire, we would send them to the Tony Robbins website to do their DISC profile. Once you've completed the DISC profile, please download it as a PDF, send an email to this address with the PDF attached to the email. I'm doing a couple of things there. First of all, I'm giving them very specific instructions. I want to see if they can follow. Do they really want to come in for this interview? Because if they never take the test and probably only 15% of the people who send the initial application actually go do the DISC profile and send us the follow-up email. So I've eliminated a ton of candidates that were not going to take the interview seriously just by asking them to do that one thing. Also, do you know how to download a PDF and attach it to an email? Because I'm amazed at the number of people who don't. So
I think I'm about to.
I didn't think that was a thing.
Yeah. I was going to
Wow.
say, who knew that was part of the test?
Right. So I literally had a girl call the office one day and say, I can't figure out how to attach this to the email. And I was like, Marie is the name of my admin, my ops manager. And I was like, Marie, hang up, just hang up. I'm just kidding. So anyway, so we would do that.
You know what they say, that there's a little bit of truth in every joke that we say.
Oh, I tell people that all the time, like 67% of the time that people say, just kidding, it means that, whatever. Anyway.
100% being truthful.
Yes,
and
that's right.
You're just trying to cover your own back. But Marie hung up on that motherfucker.
Yeah. I was like, hang up. If she can't attach it, just hang up. No. Anyway, so we did that. And then after that process, the DISC profile is helpful. I am not as like you, Andrew, in that I don't love a super strong alpha personality. I like someone that's kind of a mid D. I want someone who is strong enough to do a little jab or whatever, but I don't want someone who's going to try to railroad me. I need somebody that's, so I like a mid D. But anyway, I had a coach one time who used to tell me that my I made my D likable, and I was like, well, thank you. Are you familiar with the DISC profile? I'm
of
sure,
course.
right? Yeah.
I mean, if you could get 100% on the D section, I think I'd be on it.
Right.
But sadly, you can't quite get 100. No. So I'm not sure if it gets much higher with me.
You can get a 99 on the I, which is where I am, which is why I guess my D doesn't show quite as strong as it does in some. But so once we had that profile from them, I was typically looking for a high I with a higher SC, maybe kind of a mid D. But really, we would talk to anybody, and actually that depends on the position. If we're looking for an admin, we're definitely looking for a higher SC.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So once we did that, then we would do a phone interview. They have to have a decent phone voice if they're going to be someone who's answering the phone and whatever, So the phone interview was important because whether they could engage over the phone was a big deal. If the phone interview went well, then we would have them come in for an in-person interview. If the first in-person interview went okay, we would have them come in for a second in-person interview. And that's for administrative staff. For buyer's agents, I would have them come in a third time to spend a day kind of around the team and see how the different personality, or do a lunch or something where I can see how the different personalities interact with each other. But I went from a very short hiring process to a much longer hiring process because you just spend too much time invested in training to not feel like you've made the right selection.
Everything you've just said, and for all our listeners, the amount of times we hear, it's like, oh, you're getting a license and anyone will take it. And it's like, you've got to understand the difference between anyone will take you and like good teams. Like there is a cavernous difference. It's a bit like everyone goes, oh, well, I can just sign up to that brokerage or whatever. And it's like, yeah, sure you can. It doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Do you want to know why people like yourself who've got successful teams, successful agents, building successful bigger teams and growing revenue and all this great stuff? It's like, why do you think you can't join them? It's like, because one, it's a business. Okay, they might be housed under a brokerage or they're an indie brokerage, whatever the case may be. But it's like they're a business, they're treating it like a business. Culture's important. How people interact is important. Are you doing the work? This is all important. So whether or not you're on commission only or not is irrespective to the matter that like, if you can get on one of these good teams, you're going to make a shitload of money, which is why they're so protective of their time. It's like, I'll get you in, I will train you. You can sell 50 homes a year, right? You're going to make a lot of money, but like, I'm not sure if I want you on here yet. That's the difference between any team and a good team.
Right.
That's the difference, right? So, go on. Did you have something?
No, I'm good.
I was going to say, I wanted to give you the floor to wrap up, which is, you know, if people want to reach, whether they're buying or selling a home, agents wanting to join your team, learn a bit more about you, how could they reach out, whether it's phone, email, website, social media? Let the people know where you're at.
So we are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're in actually Arlington, Mansfield, which is on the southern side of the Metroplex. We do work all over. You can find us on Facebook at the Deeds Group at RE/MAX. We have a pretty active social media. So, and I'm pretty sure that on all, you know, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of the profile, we're the Deeds Group at RE/MAX is our handle everywhere. Our website is thedeedsgroup.com. And I mean, I doubt there's a whole lot of people that are just going to pick up the phone and call me, but I have no problem giving my number. So, it's 817-659-0980. That takes you directly to Stephanie Deeds. And if you're interested in joining the team or buying or selling real estate, I would love the opportunity to talk to you. So
give back. It's that abundance mindset.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, hey, I'll just give back. That's what everyone who comes on the show, they're like, these are my secrets. This is how I made millions of dollars. Right. And it's like, there's so much out there. Like, why hide?
One thing I didn't have an opportunity to say necessarily, because I guess I should have maybe included it in the living in a world of abundance piece of the conversation. When we started a team, we didn't do it just because it was like, oh, how do we make more money, or how do we like that wasn't necessarily our goal. I was a school teacher. My husband was working in oil and gas. We were living a comfortable lifestyle, but we weren't doing anything crazy or saving a ton of money or what, and we came into the real estate business and it changed our lives in a way that we never could have anticipated. It was one of those, you have those moments in life where you look up and go, this is where we started and look at where we are now and how did we get here, and this is amazing. And we're so grateful and so thankful for, we know that we've worked hard for it, but that we've had the opportunity to get to where we are. And, some of the experiences we've been able to give our children and when we started this team, my goal was, how do I catch, to your point, these agents that are being terribly onboarded, the ones that are not, I jokingly call some of the brokerages in town like the little puppy mills, because these agents come in and no one's there for them. No one helps them. No one teaches them. There is a 90% failure rate in our business. 90% of the people who have their license today will not still have one in 18 months. And my goal was to catch as many of those people who were serious about making a career out of this and help them change their life, change their family tree in the way that we were able to change ours. So to me, it is an opportunity to give back.
Love it. So, everyone, and we're going to leave you all on that note. Stephanie, thank you for jumping on the show. Everyone, absolutely. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in gaining access to our courses and coaching programs, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.